Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Dominions 4 in our 7-person free-for-all series, turn number 40. This should be a quick episode because there's not too much to talk about here, and I want to try to squeeze in 41 as well. I don't think there's too much to talk about, and I basically want to force myself, therefore, not to talk too much. So, research is done. Unfortunately, we don't have ICNU before here today, but that's okay. We'll have him back for the next one, and he can kind of give us an update on where we're going with research, although basically because categories are so research intensive now, actually we have a pretty massive research pool, but we have enough time in between several turns to we already know what direction we're going, we know why we're trying to get there, so I don't really need to update us on research other than to let you know that yay, research in Conjuration 5 is now finished. So we're working on number 6, and 5, does it give us access to anything special? Summer Alliance is something that we will want to take advantage of, as we mentioned, but there's nothing that we're going to be, nothing that we're going to be using in the immediate future. We'll have, I think we'll have level 6, well, so it's only 2 more turns, so we'll probably have level 6 up before we try to do anything with that. Then we have more Vine Ogres. We did cast Blight on Vanheim a little bit more, just trying to cost them a little bit more money, take away any of their military potential to build up, their military build-up potential, I guess is how I would say that. So we're weakening them, even though things weren't really well. Okay, I'm showing the map. Let's just go through the messages. Scythia. So this was not unexpected that Aermor would go for the throne at Scythia. This is the throne near Aermor and Asphodel, the one that we're going for, and we kind of knew that they were going to go ahead and try to take. Not much to say about this one. The most important thing about this is just seeing what kind of force we might face. The good news is there's really not that much going on with this force in terms of spell casting. We have this Dusk Elder here, but I don't think there's even much more in the way. That Dusk Elder, and I mean, they do have a little bit of cavalry, which is going to be not hugely problematic, but something to concern ourselves with, making sure that we kill those quickly enough that they don't get close. And I'm not too concerned, actually. We have our main force here, we have Tortuga-san, so although they're going to ravage these forces, even you can see that they lost a few forces even in this small fight. That's just the way Aermor is. They lose forces, they usually grow into a massive ball of undead. But so losing 38 out of 280 is, I mean, 40 out of 280 is just nothing for them. 1/7 their army. Just doesn't matter. But it's good. It's always good to see when, you know, they take some casualties. They're partly weakened a little bit more by another 40 people before we have to take them on. Okay, so we've taken control of Eldor. Let's figure out, oh yeah, so we moved into here, and this is the situation. In fact, we'll see in a moment why there's one more battle, but let's go through these in order. Giant's Rest, not much to talk about here, just man pushing on. So they've claimed Giant's Rest. They're now only 2 away from Vanheim, so we're also 2 away no, wait. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're 3 away from Vanheim, so they'll definitely get there first. Not that we care. We're happy to concede them the ability to siege. Florian. Okay, so finally we retook this province in Florian. That's the one where we lost our 2 Shuras last time. I guess this battle is worth viewing as well, just for entertainment. And we'll do it probably at triple speed, because I don't think there's much to talk about here. It's just basically, we killed their like, carry-on lord, which is, if you remember, the one I thought was going to do some damage to us last time. So as soon as we killed their caster, which happened pretty quickly, this was over. And even if they retreat, there's no place for them to retreat to. So we can see that we didn't lose anybody, and they lost everyone. Excuse me. Okay, Kunal. Kunal, this is our attacks against Vanheim, so this is just southwest of the throne at enemy Unroll. Look at this one on triple. Okay, it's really not worth watching, but we easily kill them. It's nice to see. Yeah, he does have a little bit damage. Diseased, huh? That's not ideal. Okay, then Might Marsh. Oh yeah, Ulm is basically just taking back Might Marsh. This is the same army. I'm not going to look at it again. What's interesting to see is that Chalad was actually attacked, we'll watch this one, by the remnants of the, well, not the remnants, the huge Garthan army. And it's a fortress there, so although Ulm moved out, they will be able to return before this province falls. This is the all-important, I think, tier 1 throne. So it's not like... Strategically, it's only important because I think Ulm is trying to defend it, which makes it something interesting for Gartha to take. But the tier 1 throne, I guess it's still useful, so it's a good place to have your strategic point if you're going to pick anything as Ulm. And it's pretty close to their capital as well, so basically they have this one province-wide gap between the fortress and their other fortress, which is their home province. Might Marsh has seen a lot of conflict in this game. It's really a war zone. This marsh might be the Marsh of the Dead at this point. So Chalad, we just saw that. Oh, White Lake. This is actually a pretty big battle. Unfortunately, I wish I seen you before was here for this, but we did talk about it because as I always get his advice on what we should be doing for our turns. So we actually took pretty sizable casualties. They have a very strong defense here, and these Hydromancers ended up being pretty powerful. Not only that, but we are going to be casting, I think, something inefficiently here. Go to Horde of Skeletons, but I think we went with Boil, if I'm not mistaken. So Frozen Heart is good. School Sharks is just going to be affecting everyone, and we have two Shuras up here in the north that have to hold off against this entire thing of Ichthyids. I'm trying to figure out. I think we cast Boil in the end. This is the Masamune's who I'm... Oh, he's casting Horde of Skeletons. That's okay. Excuse me. Let's go to triple. But basically, it ended up coming down to my Shuras being able to hold against, these Shark Knights. These are just plain sharks, but the Shark Knights are pretty powerful foes. Good defense, good attack, quite a lot of damage that they can deal to you. So they're not trivial foes to deal with. My Shura in the south was able to do it. My Shura in the north routed though, and my other Shura in the north actually died. We didn't see that, and you can see they're casting water elementals, which is I think it's pretty effective. Unfortunately, their Hydromancers are going to get away, and that's the casters. So this Water Strike and their casters were using pretty good water spells basically, and we were not doing as good of a job. So unfortunately, this very last tick here, there's a 12 going up, is what killed my Uba. My Uba survived until the very, very last round. So we lost my Uba, we lost one of my Shuras, as I mentioned, and then the Vine Ogres are expendable, so it's fine that we lost those. But in the end, they got away with their Hydromancers. We destroyed their province defense, which is not listed here. It's a pretty sizable gold investment. The Shark Knights, 5 of 7 gone. Those are pretty expensive as well. Still, they have, they were able to survive with, the really important thing is, again, they survive with their Hydromancers, which are very expensive and very potent combat casters. Okay, so let's move on. I'm not going to cover Banefei or Belagor, because these are both just province kills the same way Kunal was. So our Shuras are slowly but surely expanding into the heart of Vanheim, and things look good. Let's see, we have Glimmering Fields. It looks like Man finally retook their province. Remember, it was taken... No, wait, sorry. This is Glimmering Fields. Oh, yeah, this is the last thing. This is the final remnants of Asphodel fled from Scythia to Glimmering Fields. They were defeated. I'm not going to show it because it's just, even 3 Sagittarian carcasses survived, but they had nowhere to go. They had nowhere to retreat to, so they were killed. And that is actually the total end, the complete demise of Asphodel. So Tuzeg, the champion of the wilds, the god of Asphodel, has been permanently vanquished. At the end, he did not rule a single province, and he now has nowhere to return. So that's how it goes when you don't have any provinces left. Your pretender cannot return. So there's no way that no way that you can win the game. Basically, you're out. We also had this misfortune event. Luck has not been too big of a deal for me so far. I don't feel like it's ruled Shinuyama's game too much. You can gamble on it by taking it more misfortune and hoping to get basically not get too unlucky. We didn't do that. We only took misfortune 1, so I don't feel like that too strongly affects the game. And we've had some bad events, but for the most part I would say that we really haven't suffered from the misfortune. Valador, Dominion -3, so that's not too important. And in Binofe, who knows how to say this? I'd probably prefer to say it Binofe. And Binofe or Binof. Ah, province income +10. Well, it's not really that big of a deal. It actually doubled the income pretty much because it's a wasteland. So there's not much to say about this episode. What we're going to continue to do is go for that high-end research, cast what we can buy in ogres. We have 2 people casting it now. So we were able to build, I think I didn't show, but on the last turn we were actually forging more of these, the helmet and the wand, thistle mace and the ivy crown. So we now have 2 doing that. We're still doing Shuras from where? Where's our Shura research? Oh, wait, no, yeah, we did have... Were we saving death gems for some reason? Maybe we were saving death gems for some reason. Again, I don't remember why. So, I don't remember what our death gem storage is for in this, on this turn. Because, you know, we have been casting... Let's actually take a look here. Is anybody actually even using one of our death wands? I think our only death wand. Ah, yes. Ah, okay. So Kintoke is actually the one with the death wand, and he's moving into white water. So we'll have to forge another death wand, because without this, the skull staff, we're not able to actually recruit any Shuras. But that's, I mean, the reason why we are being so aggressive here is because we don't know if we need to cast more Shuras. It might be more important for our Shuras to be instead engaging in offensive combat. I mean, not our Shuras, but even the people who would cast like this sorcerer. His wand might be more useful for him in hands in the actual combat in the battles than it would be to help us cast more Shuras. So then the next turn we'll be moving into Midland, a block, and an Aermor, which is the all-important, one of the 2 all-important thrones that we're going for, besides either a feasible or a main. And everything about this, I don't know, just a feasible calls to me more. I feel like it's more accessible, even if we went this way, and even going this way, you know, it's closer for sure. And these armies are going to have a hard enough time just getting to Aermor. So I feel like if we had to focus, this invasion force that left from our north is going to take Aermor, and this invasion force which left from our west or our south is going to take a Feasible. So we're going to divide our forces into what looks like 2 things. Now, diplomacy stuff. We now see that Vanheim is starting to actually attack in and raid Ulm's territory. So that's just going to concrete Ulm's alliance with us. We don't have to worry about it, because we didn't really give them that much territory in the peace agreement. We did give them some, actually, but we don't have to worry about Ulm. And in fact, the fact that Vanheim is focusing on Ulm for their aggression and just kind of letting me walk in is pretty interesting, I think. Like, we're going to take advantage of it. Hopefully we can just push further and grab the 2 thrones we want and win the game. So that's it. I'm going to call this video to a close. I don't think there's anything else to talk about in terms of diplomacy. In terms of recruitment, I don't think there's really anything to say. This is just the finishing of our 2nd turn for recruiting those sorcerers, and we're not doing any other recruitment. A lot of our gold these days is going to Ulm. We're trying to give Ulm 250 or 300 gold per turn, to allow him to build up his armies against Vanheim, especially because he does a lot more with the gold than we do. And we're also somewhat paying for gems. He didn't send us gems this turn, but last turn he sent us some death gems, and he has gems and we have money, and we both need what the other person has, so it's a pretty easy exchange, gold for gems. So even though he's not sending them this turn, or he didn't send him this turn, we're going to continue to send him money. Nothing more to say, I would say. Yeah, that's it. So I will catch you back for turn 41, which I guess will be happening right, we're coming up next, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Dominions 4. I guess this has already been announced, but this is the second part. We are now into turn 41. Not much has changed here. There's not really anything major to speak about. Again, this alliance between Shinuyama and Ulm has only strengthened over time, especially as we continue to feed them money. They've also sent a messenger, please accept these gems to aid in your quest. Shield of Fennica and Vanheim's Bane. So there's a lot of messages, again, that are going on behind the scenes, which have like wonderful role-playing elements attached to them. So Battle Moose, the leader of the Ulm people, has declared himself the Shield of Fennica, which is the Throne of Splendor province, and Vanheim's Bane. It's really funny because they did actually oppose, and they cost Vanheim a potential Throne Ascension victory. Actually, we also were part of that, defeating them. But what more to say? Okay, so that's just our alliance working well. I think that if I exit and I go to send messages, we're sending another 250 gold to them. We don't have much use for this gold, so it's not a major factor for us, whereas Ulm could use it for building their forces, whereas we're more into summoning forces now. So we're doing this exchange gold for gems, and it's basically mutually beneficial. And not only that, but since we're allies, we want to be mutually beneficial. We're both going up against... Well, Ulm is mostly right now going up against, or at least was mostly going up against Agartha. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. Agartha. But now you can see that Vanheim has just come down so hard on Ulm. I think this is in response... Oh, Fennica. Where's Fennica? I thought this was Fennica. This is Griffin's Spire. Shield of Fennica. Where the heck is Fennica? Fennica! Yes, never mind. So Shield of Fennica, I guess, refers to their defense against Asphodel. And Vanheim's Bane, I guess, refers to the whole Griffin's Spire thing. But I guess Vanheim hasn't taken kindly to this title, perhaps. Anyways, the main point is that Vanheim invaded very, very strongly into Ulm territory this turn. They cost him four, maybe only 3 of these were new this turn, but a very strong response force from Vanheim. Retaliation. Oh, and even one more down in Summerlands. So this is basically a full-out aggression from Vanheim to Ulm. I don't know if it's well-deserved because Ulm was really only defending everyone in the world. It was basically when Vanheim declared their intention to try to ascend, it was everyone against Vanheim. And as soon as that was over, Ulm didn't have any reason to create more aggression against Vanheim. Although we were Manana and Shinuyama were already planning to give Ulm a plot of land for their, just their contributions to the alliance. Now, what has happened on this turn? Well, again, there's not a whole lot. We'll talk about this. We cast Blight one more time on Vanheim. It's not really going to matter much. The diminishing returns, obviously, if you're taking away percentages, then the percentage you took away last turn is going to make less of a percentage available to take away on the next time you cast it. So that's happening. Let's just go through these one at a time. Whitewater, I think this one might have been just province defense. We're just moving up the river or up the bodies of water from our original, yeah, this is nothing to talk about. So this will be very easily destroyed. We won't even bother looking at that. Scythia, this is a big one. Okay, so the Scythia, this is in the Throne province to the south. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but let's just get into the battle there. I have already shown you the end result and the province being taken. Let's look at the fight itself, because this is the way we hope things go. I'm spoiling it already, but this is the way we hope things go against Aermor from now onward. And I seen you before has been counseling me that we don't have anything to worry about. We have nothing to fear from Aermor. That we should just be able to roll over them. Because of Horde of Skeletons, because of Dust to Dust, we basically match their might with Horde of Skeletons. We create an equal army that battles in front, and all the while, our arrows and our, well, Tortuga-san using Falling Fires there, you can see how effective it can be. But our arrows and our spellcasting, Dust to Dust, should be eliminating the forces all the while our melee forces just grind each other out. So that's the idea, and we can see, let me go to triple, that it plays out really, look at that damage from Falling Fires though. So this force of Aermor's is just decimated, and I'm not even sure how many forces we lost, if any. This group pushed forward a little bit. This group did not even engage in melee combat until it looks like that very last round. I might have missed it. Cleansing Waters, by the way, I haven't mentioned, is incredibly powerful. It's even more powerful than Dust to Dust. So we'll have to start switching up things to incorporate that more, which we didn't do. Anyways, we routed them. Let's just take a look at the final damage. Yeah, we didn't lose anybody. Eliminated all but 4. I mean, the Dust Elder and Censor, these are like and the Mound Kings, these are the ones we would prefer to have killed. Obviously, the Chaff. Everything that Aermor has is basically Chaff here, except for maybe the Knights. They're pretty powerful. But other than that, you don't. I mean, that's what the Triarius is pretty powerful too. But they don't have many of them. They're not dead. Those, it's just because they're free spawn, and the armies will get a number of those back. Okay, so that's Scythia and Triton Sea. Our forces defeated Vanheim. I guess this is just a scouting force in Triton Sea. So nothing much to worry about there. They didn't lose their scout, which is what you would expect. In Oblak, we pushed forward with our Shuras. So we've taken that. In Midlands, we pushed forward with our Shuras. We've taken that. And in NA Umbral, we pushed forward with our Shura, and we have taken that. Still a mystery what it's still a mystery what throne lies here, but at least it's now in friendly control. Alright, so what do we have to talk about besides that? Stone Grave Mountains. Stuff is always happening in Stone Grave Mountains. It's just the most active province I've ever seen. I'm not a veteran to this game, though. And the Zox lost 90 people. Well, it's not. It's actually a significant portion of their population, but it's nothing to concern ourselves with. That's not like what we need. Zox is not supposed to be an income. We're not supposed to be sucking out much income from there anyway. And the Emerald's Fortress is unharmed. Obviously, we only have one Shura there. Erd forces are starving. These guys are starving is kind of a problem, because they have 1, 2, 3 more turns before they get back to Scythia, and this is just kind of a reminder of how weird Aermor is to play against. Unfortunate, I would say, they are to play against, because it just, to me, it's not fun having to just constantly grind supplies in order to increase your ability to go into Aermor's land. They just kill off the entire world. Anyways, I mean, it did mean, and this is the reason why Sabouts and Aermor is so inconsequential in this game. Both Asphodel and Aermor, I think that they took just a huge blow because they were so easy to pick on. And Aermor, I mean, it just is not relevant. There's nothing. Like, the only thing that Aermor can do now is just hope to amass an army and then maybe have one influential fight. We tried to even get them to do one influential fight against Vanheim when Vanheim was taking the throne, but I'm not sure if, again, Aermor was distracted, if they intentionally didn't attack Vanheim. It would be weird for me to imagine that Vanheim and Aermor were allies after Vanheim is the one who just basically, I don't use this term lightly, but they basically raped Aermor, destroyed all their lands, reduced them to like a single province nation, I think, at one point, or maybe a 2-province nation. Sacked all their lands. Not that that matters for Aermor, because Aermor just destroys it with their dominion anyway, but all that happened, and now Aermor appears maybe to not care about retaliating against Vanheim. Now that it maybe, like I said, it could be that just because Sabouts in his personal life is busy and not really doing his turns, but it might be just that he's not interested in playing the game as much. It's really difficult to stay involved in a game when you're not relevant. It's kind of, if you have time you can spend on other things, you might. I don't want to be too hard on it, but because this might actually be just the best decision for him, okay, let's take a look at it from that perspective. He doesn't have anything better to do than just to build a force right now anyway, even if he wants to go against Vanheim. We were trying to push him into attacking probably before he's ready. Although he did go for Scythia, so it shows that he does have at least the initiative and wherewithal to engage, which is unfortunate. I mean, it didn't cost me anything to eliminate that army in the end, but it is something that I had to do. It could have been bad. So Aermor's only initiative has gone against me so far, which is fine. I mean, at this point, we are strong, becoming, I think, the most powerful nation in the world. Now, a huge event. I don't understand what happened, but Feudal has lost its throne, or fortification. And I have no idea why. This is just an utter mystery to me, but it means that definitely a main is not going to be my target, and a Feudal is. And it even means that we don't need to get to a Feudal before... we don't need to get there before the end of the game. We only need to get there in time to claim the throne. Before, we would have needed to siege and destroy the fortress. I mean, the fortress would have then helped us, so that's the good news. But the bad news is, that obviously, taking down a fortress takes a amount of time. Alright, let's try to keep this episode somewhat short. So, that's the crux of this episode. The biggest event is this loss of fortification on a Feudal, which I'm so surprised by. Now, what's our plan moving forward? We're going to continue to expand onto Vanheim's lands. Man has claimed that he's going to take Vanheim. I think that he might already be there. I don't remember. But we are just going to take the Forest of Gun and then fall back from there, so that this land is all Man's anyway, but he's just beelining for Vanheim, which is not too surprising because, again, we think that he probably has some regret over losing the capital at Asphodel. Ulm is more committed to an anti-Vanheim stance now that they've been heavily invaded by Vanheim. And we are going to start moving out with some of our forces to assist in the defenses over here. Not in the defenses, but the offensive over here. We're going to have a hard time taking fortresses such as Solian unless we can amass a large amount of troops. For now, what we're going to be doing is moving out with, I think, some Kappas. No, this is our Shura. Our Shura is just going to go here and pin down the fortress to stop it from making any income. And it looks like some of our, obviously, we have one of our guys building a Kelp fortress. Since this land is basically defended on all sides by we're not worried about Vanheim's forces from here or from here. So I'm going to move out with my defensive forces and just keep only the Kappa that I need there to continue to build the fortress, which will be ready in 2 more months. So we're getting close. I'm just going to move my Kappa commander to grab these extra Kappas. Just they're in these lands that they don't need to be. We want to amass them back into the army and put them somewhere useful. We're moving this force here to reunite with the Tortugasan force. And now I guess the plan is to move from Scythia to Feudal with Tortugasan. And then we need some way of getting Eneamril's throne to actually claim it. And this is where our Ubas are going to come into play. So we have one Uba you'll see moving here. Hirosumusi or whatever. There she is. So she has a ring of water breathing, and her goal is to go to Blue Water and construct a lab. From this lab, we are going to get a bishop fish. This bishop fish will then get shambler armor, which allows them to breathe both. It allows you to breathe air and water. So I should say breathe in the conditions of either air or water, the environments of those. So it basically makes land forces able to go underwater, and it makes underwater forces, which is what the bishop fish is, and that's the key element here. It makes the bishop fish able to breathe air. So we go here, build a lab, recruit a bishop fish, or actually summon one, and then we move that to Feverfens to claim the throne. Same idea in Emerald Lake, but we're going to wait 1 turn on this because I think we're lacking water rings right now. I think so. I think we don't have enough water rings. And we can also see what else we're doing. We're getting a water bracelet because we need water 3, I think, for the bishop fish. And let's see what else. We're claiming, Tortuga-san's claiming that throne, the Throne of Winter. Awakening Vine Ogres, forging a Skull of Fire. Oh yes, a Skull of Fire and a Ring of Water Breathing. So we're lacking one, so we're forging another one so that we have enough to build another lab where we're building our Kelp Fortress in Emerald Lake. We're going to want to send next turn an Uba with a Ring of Water Breathing down there. And this will work out perfect staggered. We don't have anything else going on. Staggered, so this, we'll get the water bracelet to Hiromusi next turn when she summons the bishop fish, while this Uba moves here, builds a lab. So the build lab while this one moves, summon with the bracelet while this one builds a lab. This then gives up the water bracelet for her, and then she summons a bishop fish as well, which means that during that turn, with the bishop fish already existing here, we'll give him the Shambler armor, so we'll have to make it at the same time that we're building the lab here and summoning the bishop fish here. We'll have to build a Shambler armor, and then on the next turn after that, the Shambler armor equipped bishop fish will move to Fever Fens and claim the throne. So that's like 4 turns, I think, from now, and it's turn 41. So we expect around turn 45 is where we're going to claim both of these thrones at the same time, because the bishop fish that spawns here, the turn after this one, the turn after this one spawns. So would there both be? We'll have one in Fever Fens, one in Emerald Lake at the same time. So they can both claim their thrones at the identical time. Or we can, so the idea is we need one to claim the throne here. Tortuga-san will claim the throne at Feasible, and the one here will claim the throne, and 1, 2, 3, 4 to NA Umbral to claim the throne there. This is the long idea, the long shot we have to try to pull out a victory in this game. And we're going for it. I mean, it's a 50 turn limit. It's quite possible that nobody wins this game, but everybody should just give it their best shot, right? If you're completely out of the runnings, I would say Man's not very likely to win the game. Ulm isn't very, actually Ulm is at least in striking distance of a lot of, the tier 3 throne is just so powerful. Agartha has kind of removed themselves from the game, so the main players involved now, Ulm just has to deal with what we might as well consider the barbarian force of Agartha, who's basically not aggressive to anybody except for Ulm. But besides that force, the other players are Ulm, Man, Vanheim, and Shinuyama. So it's become a 4-player race, and you'd have to say that we are the favorites, whereas Vanheim is still pretty strong. They're in a good position. They're just being beset on all sides, and I hope that means at least we'll be able to see what they can do with the remainder of their treasury. The remainder of their treasury, the gems they've gotten, everything like that. But we'll see how much resistance they can present to the impending forces. Now, I don't think there's anything else I really need to talk about, so we'll just wrap this video up early. I guess, okay, the Prophet force, the Yukinaga force is moving here to move here next turn. We're assembling all our forces, and the reason why I built that Skull of Fire is because after Tortuga-san claims the throne, we're going to finally cast this Summer Lions or the Serpents in order to have these really powerful fire units helping us. First of all, they're going to help us against Aermor, but we also need them possibly to help claim Feasible. I mean, that's the end goal, is to get to Feasible. So that's the goal. And I guess that'll wrap this video up. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully we'll have another expert alongside me next turn, so we have some more input. We're just continuing to chug away at the research, Conjuration 6 next turn, and then we'll see where we're going to go from there. But until then, thanks for watching. That'll conclude this entire episode, turn 40 and 41. We'll see what turn 42 has for us in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and until then, take care.